All right, welcome to Jacker. Jacker is an acronym, and that stands for.
For just another chair routine, obviously. And I'm just going to explain it.
Yeah, sure.
If you don't mind. So first of all, you need 4 caps, of course.
4 caps?
Yes, in different colors, like a yellow one, a blue one, a red, and a green one. So basic colors that are distinguishable from each other. And you need 4 envelopes, which should look the same, 1, 2, 3, and 4, like that. And the idea is that, first of all, I must admit that I'm quite fond of chair routines, and I know that many mentalists aren't, because I think it's too difficult to follow, and the main effect in the end is not worthwhile, the whole effort. But this thing is quite different because it's all based around this old game of musical chairs. So basically what you're doing is you're predicting the outcome of the game. You predict which player will be
the last
asked to, it will be the last one.
Who gonna win the game?
You also explain the correct, you predict the correct order in which they will drop out of the game, and you also predict the color of the cap that the final winner is wearing. So it's quite a lot going on, and it's just not one final prediction, but it seems that you predicted everything. It's
really easy to understand, kind of a chair prediction, absolutely.
And there's so much going on stage while you're doing this. It's very, very funny, and it's quite easy to do at the same time. So what you need are these caps. They are not prepared in any way, and you need the envelopes, which are not prepared in any way either. So they're just regular, they're no double envelopes, and the idea is you need to be able to force the order in which the spectators drop out of the game. So the final prediction is really printed and cannot be changed afterwards. So you need to know the order.
Okay.
And it doesn't really matter which envelope the spectators select right at the beginning, because you are able to produce each and every single number from this envelope, from any envelope. The envelopes I use are red ones. You can use other colors, but it's advisable that they have these straight flaps like that, not these ones.
Not the triangle,
but
or
these
V-shape
straight ones. Because when you open them, you see that inside there's also a straight border here. This is important for the effect to work. What I do is I use these self-sealing envelopes, and I remove this thing and just rub over with my thumb to remove some of the tackiness, because I want this still to be able to self-seal, but they should be able to be opened very quickly. So
if you put it on your pants, you can get some little fluff in it, and it will do the same effect. Basically.
But I'm always having a dirty thumb, so just use them the same way. Good. Now, either way, however you would prefer to do this, with your thumb or with your trousers, they should stick, but should be able to be opened again. So, just so you know what this is all about. So we have basically 4 identical envelopes, and inside there are just pieces of cardboard. So inside there are 2 pieces of cardboard each, and they carry the numbers 1, 2, and on the backs 4 and 3. So number 1 has the 4 on the back, number 2 has the 3 on the back.
Isn't that the same all the way through?
It's all the same.
All the same, okay. So always number 1 paired with number 4, and number 2 paired with number 3.
Correct, exactly. And they're placed inside of these envelopes like that. You have number 1 showing, you place number 2 on top, and you place everything inside like this. So they cannot be seen anymore. So the size would be approximately up to here, so just half an inch or so. That's overlapping here. So they cannot be seen from the inside. Even if you open it and grab in, you cannot see inside. And that goes for all the envelopes. They are sealed, and now you're able to produce whichever number you
want.
Just by opening it up. And to remember which way I have to hold them up and to open them, I big and boldly write the respective numbers onto the envelope. I don't know if you can see them right there. So on this side it's 4 and 3, and you see the 3 is a little bit lower than the 4, which means that the 3 is closer to my body when I'm holding the envelope.
So the bottom number is closer to you,
and
the upper number is on the other side.
And on the other side, is exactly the same. The 1 is closer to my body, and the 2 is further away, shows in front to the audience.
And it's the same with all 4 envelopes?
It's the same with all 4 envelopes.
So on both sides there is a mark in the same way? Okay.
And all you need to do is, if you want to produce a certain number, is, let's say you want to produce number 4, I just look at number 4, I know it's the one furthest away, so I just take this, open the envelope, reach in and take out the cardboard that's furthest away from me and show it to the audience. So from the front, it really comes out as expected, so you just reach in, take out and show the number, and it is the 4. It's very easy and just flies by.
Yeah.
If you had chosen the 3, and just move in and take the one that's closer to my body, and it's 3.
This is
You only must watch that no one sees behind this.
Yeah.
So I just grab this and immediately I place this in front of the envelope and hold both. So
if there is a strong light on stage, it's not going to light through it, so it's just only the one number visible that you need.
Correct. And that's basically it. The beautiful thing is when you have to produce another one, the 1 or 2, in this case, you have the audience look right into the envelope, because you have to turn it, so you open it, I make sure that all is tucked down, and then I turn it, because I read now it's number 1 is here, so I need to take the one closest to my body, and they actually look inside of the opened envelope, which is quite nice, and I just reach in and take out the correct one.
Yeah.
Number 2 or number 1.
Or number 1, which one you need.
So that's the way you handle the envelopes.
Yeah.
And this is done when one of the spectators is dismissed. So he loses, this one remains standing. I say, thank you, give me your cap back. Give him a big hand, thank you so much. I take the envelope from him. And while he's getting seated and while they are laughing and applauding, I just open it and produce.
So again, it's a moment when nobody watching you. Everybody clapping and watching the person coming off from the stage. So
And that's it. That's how you handle the envelopes.
Okay.
So you're basically forcing the number in which the order in which they drop out of the game. And what I do is I just place them aside, the envelopes, once they have been used, and go to the flip chart and just make a mark so the people can remember which number dropped out when and who.
So after you show the number, you just go to the flip chart and write this number big and bold. Okay, that's all.
And that's it.
It's really easy.
Yeah. So the structure of the routine would be this. I invite 4 people to the stage, and the most important thing is the revelation, the final revelation. So far we've covered the order in which they drop out, which is forced, which is printed firmly onto the prediction.
Exactly.
But they really have a free choice of the 4 hats or 4 caps.
Yeah.
And this is why you need the 4-way out. And I do this by using a special wallet, in this case, which is the Miller Miracle Wallet. Which is, mine was manufactured by Evil Dan. It's a thing of beauty because it's very, very thin. You can handle it freely. It looks very good, very natural. And still it holds 4 different predictions, and whichever side you open, it always looks the same. You always have this piece of paper inside, you have this window cut out, and you have an envelope inside. It's very, very nice, and you can carry it around in your pocket, so it does not take too much space. You don't have to carry chairs around, because when you're doing these musical chairs, there's no preparation to the chairs, nothing to add, to attach, no colored markings or something.
And you hand this wallet to the spectator as a judge?
Yeah, initially I hand it to the spectator as a judge. And ask him to take care of it, to put it in his pocket, to not touch it, because I don't want him to try to do something. And so also don't touch it and don't let anybody else touch it. So he puts it in his pocket and
that's all.
It's forgotten about. And this is very, very fair and very freely. So all the choices are very fair. You don't know how the game will end. You don't know the order in which they take the envelope, because it doesn't matter, and you don't know this. So in the end, when you get this back, you have to just open it to the respective side, either to red, yellow, green or blue. That's basically it.
That's all,
Yeah, I'm not going to explain this in detail because it's a manufactured item. But basically you open it, and what I've also done is, when I open it, I want to be sure that this is the correct envelope. So again, I've just written a huge
the first letter of the color.
This would be the red one.
So R in the red, Y in the yellow, green if it's green, and B if it's blue.
Yeah.
Easy as that.
For added security.
Correct. Yeah. Because again, I don't want to think during the performance. I want to concentrate on.
And if you not do this, you need to memorize which one is where and things like that. So it just makes it easier.
And the order I remember is, so it can be opened either to compartment 1, 2, 3, or 4. And I just go down the flashlights, the traffic lights in Germany, which would be red, yellow, green, and the 4th color would be the remaining one, which is blue.
Yeah.
So but do remember it the way.
And you will find your own preference how to remember it.
Yeah. Now, one more thing to explain the final prediction itself and how it reads. So basically, they all look the same. 4 random spectators will play a game of musical chairs. Each of them will freely select a number, and I say, yes, you did, and a card cap. The spectators will drop out in the following order. First number 3, and then they all look at the flip chart to see, oh yeah, it's really correct. Then number 2, then number 4, and player number 1 will win the game. Applause. And then you get your second applause cue when you say the winner is a handsome guy with a good taste for fashion. Just look at him. Last night, the guy, his taste for fashion was not that good, but it was a very funny situation. And then you have this big prediction of the red cap or the yellow one, respectively, and so on and so forth. So it's very much to predict, and it almost seems impossible due to the fact that really all the choices are absolutely random. And I like this very much. I do this whenever I can because I only have to carry these caps and the wallet and some envelopes, and that's it. You can use any chairs you like. It's very nice.
Good worker.
Yeah. If you don't have to have this wallet, you can use different ways. Just any 4-way out, you can come up with
so you can, for example, use a 4-way out envelope simply and just put it on a stand, and this is the prediction, and that's all.
Yeah.
Or you can use a kind of a pocket indexes, or I'm pretty sure that tons of other wallets, it's perfect for that. Maybe you cannot display that clean fashion, but we know a lot of wallet has indexes.
Well, if you want to have it real large, you can use an idea by Ted Leslie, which he published in his book Mental Mind Up, which was, I think, translated into English and called Paramiracles then.
Paramiracles,
yes, but I don't know if this is also in the English version. The idea is you have an envelope, you can have it hanging on from a stand, you can have a really large envelope. And the idea is that inside there are 4 prediction envelopes. And if you can see this, there are needles sticking through the envelope, and they are sticking through the outward.
So one needle through one envelope.
Through one envelope, and you can also have the heads of the needles colored respectively. So the green, yellow, and blue. And if before you want to reveal this, you simply take the envelope and just with your thumb slide out the thing like that. And then only one will drop out. If you shake it, the others will remain inside. So it's very, very clean, very fair
That's
display.
a very clean one,
And you can hand this to the spectator and you can open it. It's one of the solutions you can use. So any 4-way out will do.
Yeah, and this envelope can hang in full view from the start. And that's a really good alternative solution for that.
That's Checker.
That's Checker.
Also, jetzt kommt Stefans Mesmerize.
Ja.
Das ist eine unglaubliche Vorhersage und ich denke, wir können es jetzt lernen, ja?
Ja, fangen wir einfach. Ja, natürlich. Die ganze Routine in Deutsch. Wir fangen einfach mal an. Wir brauchen einfach nur ein Glas.
What?
Okay, let's continue in English. Now, this effect is called Mesmerize, an incredible prediction. And well, this is one of my favorites. It's one of my babies, so to speak, and it always works like a charm. It's based on a very old principle, usually connected with cards. And my initial inspiration was the Klebekarte by the German magician Joho. But the idea of somehow sticking cards together has been around for centuries.
Yeah,
actually.
centuries at least.
I've read one in Sphinx back in the 1930s. I think there was the first time where this idea came up.
Yeah.
And even Richard Sanders uses this in his lecture, one of his lecture DVDs. If you read the Sticky Blue book by Anthony Owen, so this idea is not new at all. But I think the idea of using this in connection with envelopes, and thus sort of transferring this from card magic era to mentalism is quite new. So this is what I did with this basic principle. And the idea is you have people write down their thoughts, can be any thoughts, on a card, preferably your business card, and it's just a thought. It can be any thought. They slide this into an envelope and they seal the envelope. And I don't want them to lick this because it's not hygienic. And I use this great thing, the Zig 2-way glue, which can be found on the internet or in scrap stores. So where artists buy, you can find this. And you just would apply some of this because it's repositionable as long as you let it dry before attaching the surfaces. So what you do is you just press this down a little bit and just place this on and wait until it's dry, then it will be clear and not blue anymore.
So when you say it's clear, that means it's dried and you can use it?
Yeah, you can use it, and it's removable, so you can just close the flap and open it again over and over again. And this is good because for every performance, depending on the size of the audience, you would need about 20, 30 envelopes, and these are not that cheap. But they can be used over and over again if they don't seal the flaps, like as long as they don't really seal the flaps. So they can be reopened afterwards. So everybody is basically writing down his thoughts, and then the most beautiful moment of this routine is when actually the people start throwing these envelopes at you.
Yeah.
This is a really great sight, and this is also something they remember. They remember they've been throwing something at the Mentalists. And it looks great, even if you have a photographer and he takes picture and tell him beforehand, just wait until they throw this at you on stage. It looks so great.
It looks great, yeah, absolutely.
And it even feels great if you're standing on stage and all these envelopes coming up. It's really fun, and it involves the whole audience, so it's something that's very interactive. And this is what I think mentalism should be, not just you standing there. So I've talked that much because I wanted to this to dry. So now you could see this, and it can be reopened afterwards. I've prepared some of these envelopes. Actually, they're from last night, so they have not been opened yet. And the people throw these envelopes on stage, so they are lying around here somewhere. The main principle is hidden inside of this glass. It apparently contains just one black envelope with a white question mark. But what really is inside is two envelopes. And one of them, and you can see this in the right in the reflection, is also prepared with this sticky blue stuff.
So this is the same glue?
It's the same glue. I let it dry so that it temporarily sticks. You cannot see this when it's inside of the glass due to the reflection of the light.
Yeah.
And if you fear that it might be seen, you can use a glass that has some fancy stuff around, or that's not that see-through. So just
any kind of decoratives on it or something like that?
For example. And the best way to do this, to find the best glass, is to just go out with your envelopes and go into a shop, because you need a glass that automatically aligns these inside of the glass, so they are more or less aligned here, like a doubled.
Yes.
And you also need a glass that's large enough to hold one additional envelope together with a card inside.
Okay.
So this goes in with this as well. And if you find a glass that holds all three envelopes tightly together, you found the correct one.
Okay.
So take your time using and finding this glass, otherwise the effect doesn't work. Now the preparation is as follows. You have one black envelope, black from both sides. I just simply colored this with an edding, which is just a big Sharpie marker for our US viewers. And well, inside, this is also prepared with a Zig two-way glue, so it is repositionable. Inside is a piece of paper which reads, "You will be thinking of knife," or any other thought.
You always use this word?
No, I use, if I have multiple performances at the same environment, of course, I use different words.
Use different words, okay.
Yeah. So in this case, it's knife. It goes on into this envelope and it's sealed. So this is basically unprepared. This goes into the glass. And this envelope is just an ordinary
coin envelope, manila envelope.
Yes, which I colored again with this marker, and also drew a question mark so that it resembles the one in the glass.
Yeah.
But the back is left unharmed.
Okay.
And this is the main principle. So the idea is, when this is sticking inside of the glass and you have another one and place it on top, it will automatically adhere, and you have a double envelope. You can show it from both sides and it appears to be normal.
Yeah.
And that's the main idea of the effect. So instead of secretly switching the prediction, as I suggest to the audience during the performance, you actually switch the selected thought.
Yeah.
And the beautiful thing is that you can even have the person that's standing on stage sign the
Sign
envelope.
it, yeah.
And this is what I always do. And I have this gag, I have this huge marker and say just write down your phone number, and so it's just to make any mark she likes, just like an X or something. Good. So it doesn't matter which thought she chooses. And all you have to do is, now I have to go through the complete performance for the revelation, because it's very important how you take out it and how your actions are motivated. So you pick those up. Let's imagine you pick those up from the floor. Please hold them in a fan like this. Very good. And when I snap my fingers, please take out the one that you like, the thought. And it's important that, to me at least, it's important that you don't mention the envelopes anymore, but say, always speak of thoughts. Take out the thought you like, not the envelope, because you want the envelope to be forgotten. Yeah. So take out the thought you like now. This one. Yes. Are you happy with what you like to change your mind?
No, I'm happy with it.
You're happy. Then do me a favor. Just take the pen and write down your phone number. No, just any mark you like, so that you can recognize this. Good. So this is your thought?
Yes.
Very good. Now let me show you what would have happened if you had chosen any other envelope, and then I just, in my inner monologue, I'm saying something along those lines like, well, I need the hands free to open this, or let's just drop this inside of the glass. Don't say this out loud, but this is your inner monologue you're going to do. So I take this as this is your thought. Very good. Let me just show you what would have happened if you had chosen any other envelope, and this is just goes by. Yeah. And it's only natural to put this in glass. And then I take the first one, I open this up, take out what's inside. In this case, it's the word handbag, and I have the lady, again, it's you, I'm so sorry, the lady take out the card and read out what it says. It says handbag. Yes, it's handbag. Now, what would have been inside of this envelope, just to prove that everything's different, just take it out if you like. What does it say?
This one says nothing.
This one says nothing, because they...
No thoughts.
No thoughts at all. No. So, actually, well, basically, you're just showing that there have been different thoughts. Yeah. And then I just remove them. I usually put them into my pocket to make the audience get used to me going to this pocket, my left coat pocket. So these are away, and I say, but you didn't want those. You wanted this thought here, and all I do is I simply grab all three envelopes. Let me show you from the side, maybe. You grab all three envelopes and just press together. And pull up with your thumb, push down with your first finger, and automatically the double envelope will slide out, and you've executed the switch. Yeah. So from the front it looks like this, but you didn't want this. You wanted this very thought here. And I take this, grab this from above like this, to cover the sides, because this is these corners here. You might see that it's a double. Yeah. So I just
quite visible.
Take this out. Immediately place this in my hand like in the dealing position, like that, and I move down with my hands so they can see both sides of the envelope, which is very, very fooling. And then just open it and have her remove the thought herself, just take it out. It's very clean, and while she's reading this, I just place this in my pocket and I get rid of the evidence, and that's it. So this should read knife.
It says knife.
It says knife, yes, very good. And then I move away from the glass, have her open the envelope, take it out. Show me what it says. You'll be thinking of knife. And that's it. That's the main idea of Mesmerize. Yeah. But I've combined this with this little tiny paper ball idea, which I like very much. Because most of the time people tend to think that really somehow you switch the prediction. This is why I address this. Especially address this in the presentation. And before the effect happens, so actually while they are writing down their thoughts, I say I need one helper from the audience, and I'm going to choose them at random by this paper ball, and I need this to be a lady. And I throw this into the audience, and while the lady is coming up on stage, they are writing everything down, and usually I ask them to give her a round of applause. Because during this applause, while I welcome her on stage, I'm using the Dunning-Joy ploy to find out her name. Yeah. Because I need to misread this prediction on the paper ball later on.
Yeah. Yesterday it happened a bit differently.
Yes,
so
yesterday.
let's talk about that because it just looked like
yes,
a real miracle.
It was a real miracle. The idea is that the prediction reads as follows. Says tonight, a beautiful lady by the name of Tina in this case will be thinking of the word knife.
Okay, why the name is Tina in this question?
Because I usually use this if I have to misread something. What I do is I do not leave the space blank. I always use a name that's quite common. The name of Tina is quite common in Germany, just as Christa or Renate, if you find some women that are not that young. And I just placed Tina for that reason.
Yeah.
And there happened to be a Tina in the audience yesterday, and she was the one to catch that paper ball, so it was the...
Yeah, and the reason why you didn't have to use the Daninger ploy was this girl was on stage before, so and you just simply remembered his name, you know that she's called Tina, and
so I didn't need
this is why it looked like a real miracle, which it was in a way.
It was, yes.
Okay, so normally what you do?
Normally I would just have this, I throw this into the audience, and see, it's the lady that catches it. And as if you have any free hands, because they're still writing, just give her a big hand for joining me on stage. Thank you so much. And I would, now you play the girl, I would just say hello.
Hello.
And then while they are applauding, I say, what is your name?
My name is Elizabeth.
Please stand here.
Please stand here.
I just not acknowledge that I've heard the name and stand here, and that's it. I don't mention it anymore and try to remember the name.
You do it as a cover of a...
I do it on the cover of the clapping. If I'm using a microphone, I usually have the technician just kill the mic for this time. I just tell him when I've thrown out the paper ball, and he also has a sheet of paper where it says this, when I've thrown the paper ball. And the lady comes on stage, as soon as I shake her hand, kill the mic for 3 seconds. Yeah. And it usually works. So whenever he sees I shake someone's hand, he knows, oh, just kill the mic. So it's not audible.
Yeah, okay.
And that is how I get the name, the classic Daninger ploy.
And of course, if you are not in a situation to use a technician, I think if you just cover your microphone and as a gesture of some sort for these 3 seconds, nobody ever will remember it. So that's the worst thing that you can do. They are uploading, so
if you don't use a mic at all, it's no problem.
It's no problem, of course.
Loud enough. If you're using a mic, you can also use a handheld mic and just place it to the side. You can also mute your mic if you have access to the sender. Just do this in a couple of seconds and
easy as
you'll
that.
find those ways. But it's really worth it to practice the Daninger ploy, and don't whisper to her. It's not stage whispering. It's just you being polite, asking the woman for her name. There's nothing to think about, nothing strange. And even if somebody hears it in the first row, who cares?
It's normal.
Yeah. What happened? You just ask her name.
Yeah, there's nothing strange going on.
And it's as in their mind, it's on the paper, so it doesn't matter if everybody hear it.
Yeah, and even the lady, she's looking at the paper, and if it's not a girl called Tina, I just cover this with my thumb and I just read this out, and she looks over my shoulder and she acknowledges everything, even the name, even if it's not there. So it says tonight, a beautiful lady by the name of Elizabeth, and this name will be thinking of the word knife.
Knife, yeah.
Ta-da! And that's it.
That's it, yeah.
So this is my ending for Mesmerize, and I think it's much stronger because this really has been in the audience the whole time.
Yeah.
So you couldn't have changed this.
Yeah, so it absolutely proves everything, that you cannot change the predictions, you cannot change the words, you cannot play any fumbling or any cheats, because that was from the start.
Yeah, exactly. This is Mesmerize.
This is Mesmerize.
Danke, Stefan.
Gerne.
What?
Well, I really hope you enjoyed my ideas. As you can see, I'm somebody who's thinking visually, and I think that's the main thing that I wanted to show in this on this DVD. That mentalism doesn't need to be that serious and doesn't need to be performed by elder men, and that you can really have fun with your audience while keeping the wonders intact. And this is my approach to mentalism, and I really hope you like it.
Absolutely.
I would also love to hear from you if you happen to try to perform any of these effects. I really love to hear from you. Just give me a call or drop me a line. I'm available on Facebook or via Martin and Andrew at Mystic Factory. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah. So thank you very much. That was Mentalities. We really hope that you enjoyed it. You will use and try most of the ideas that you can. So That was the Mentalities.
See you next time.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, guys, so this is the interview with the master German mentalist, Stefan Olschewski.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you'll get the money later on, okay?
Thanks.
Okay, I would like to ask in the beginning.
Yes.
Because we're in the beginning of the interview, I would like to ask you about the beginnings of your magic career. How did it start?
Well, my first connection with magic was, I remember quite a long time ago when I was a little child. I was about 6 years old, and I went on holiday with my parents to a little town by the North Sea, and there was a children's performer, a children's magician performing there, and I remember he was there, and we went to the show, and he made us pick invisible colors from the air and throw them into a book. And suddenly, all the pages were colored with the beautiful drawings, and it was so amazing that I was really thrilled by this performance.
It just sounds too good to be true.
Yes, I have no idea how this worked. And I was really thrilled because I was only 6 years old, and I actually made my parents go there during our stay twice or even 3 times. And
for the same show?
To the same show. It was exactly the same show, and I also got autographs from him. And this was my first connection with magic. And since then, ever since, I wanted to do this, to be able to do this kind of stuff.
Yeah, okay, and you know, nowadays everybody know you as a mentalist, probably because of Mesmerize. It was a huge release and a lot of people bought it. My question is that, why did you move from magic to mentalism?
I didn't. It just came naturally. You know, I've always been fascinated by mental effects, and it suddenly happened that when I was performing my routines, I just put in just a mental effect in, and another one, and so it's gradually shifted from just ordinary magic to this mentalism sphere. But what I do is I try to keep this magic moments of wonder in the mentalism show, so it's not just me standing there and revealing thoughts, but I still want the show to be colorful and visual, and this is, in my opinion, this is the problem that most mental acts have. They lack this light-hearted feeling.
Yeah.
And so it was no decision to shift over to mentalism. It just happened somehow.
Well, Martin said that your effect Mesmerize was a great success. But what was your first release?
First release was it was a videotape, because there were no DVDs back then. It was called Mentalitäten, which is basically the word-for-word translation of Mentalities. And I was 19 years old back then, I think, and I did this on my own. So I just rented a room, and I hoped there would be some guests. And we just recorded this on our own. I had to cut everything on my own, and I just released this privately for the German market only.
So you cut it on a VHS tape?
Yes,
Wow.
just a VHS tape, and then I photocopied the covers and placed everything inside, and hoped that 1 or 2 dealers would actually buy this from me and distribute it, and it actually worked. If you watch, you can and look for it. You can even find 1 or 2 of them of the original VHS
Really?
tapes on Amazon.
Wow.
Just look for it. It's very strange, and it's only available in PAL. So if you're watching in the USA, sorry.
Sorry.
If you still happen to own a VHS player, you know.
And you live not in the USA, just grab it.
Just grab it. You see the very young Stefan Olschewski performing mental effects.
Okay.
And the interesting thing is that I had there an effect that pretty much uses the same idea as the magical chairs I performed last night. So what I did back then was just, I already had this idea, and it was about 15 years ago. I had this idea of the people moving around, walking around these chairs, just to make the idea of a chair test more visual and more playful. And I just back then I only revealed the final winner by using a 4-way out envelope. And now this has evolved
of course.
somehow. And
Quite a lot.
yeah, and when I look back, I really think it's interesting because there's been happening so much and so much time gone on, and
absolutely.
but you still see the roots of the effect if you watch Mentalitäten.
Yeah. Okay, we know about you that you learned theatrical drama. So what is the relationship between drama and mentalism in your mind?
Well, whenever I approach a mental effect, I always start to or try to look at it from a theatrical point of view. So it's not the method I'm interested in, and it's just how the effect would play in the minds of the audience. And this is what I look for. And actually, I do not have to do this on purpose, because I studied this, and whenever I see a performance, not particularly mine, but of other performers, I always look at it from this point of view. How does it play for an audience? And this is how I also approach my own ideas. So I think as long as an actor is entertaining, and as long as it somehow touches the audience in any way, I think you're allowed to do anything, as long as you're polite. So what I do when I try to create something or come up with a new idea is the easiest thing is just to think back to your own childhood and to something that most of the people will somehow have an emotional attraction towards. Just like the game of Hangman or the game of musical chairs. So they think back and say, oh yes, we used to play this just a couple of years ago, or we used to play this at school, and they are into the effect and into the idea what it's all about. And from that point on, you already have the attention of the audience, and then you can go into the effect and make it really flow.
Yeah, you know, a lot of mentalism effect is just really hard to understand for the audience, and you know, this is the type of effect that's just self-explanatory, really.
Yeah, it is. Even though there's so much happening, and you predict that much, but in contrast to most other chair routines, it's just you know what's going to happen because everybody knows the rules. And that way, it only makes sense that you not only predict the final winner, but also the color of the cap and also the exact order in which the spectators drop out of the game. So it just makes perfect sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm really happy that I came up with it, because it's so much fun, because you don't have to do anything, just watch the spectators walking around and
having fun.
And having fun. This is the main point. Usually you would think, oh no, I don't want to do this, I don't want to walk around these chairs, but if you treat them politely, I've never ever had anybody saying, no, I don't want to do this. Because it's just you're not making fun of the spectators, but you're having fun together, basically.
Yeah.
And it's just, it goes down well every night. So it's really, really good.
You know, this effect is one of my personal favorite, and I honestly can't wait to try it out. So, you know, it's just awesome.
Let me know.
Just awesome. I'm pretty sure you will.
Good.
Yeah, so your theatrical background clearly influences your creativity.
Definitely,
process.
Yes.
And what would you say? How do you start to create an effect? Because you know, you said you have the roots of this effect back then, like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
How do you evolve these effects, or how do you start to create an effect?
You know, in my mind, many of your effects is just absolutely bold, but in the other perspective, on a spectator point of view, it's just still undetectable, and it's a really good combination in mentalism, I think.
Well, there's not the way I try to come up with something. It's sometimes it really is a prop that I see, just like the chest for the key to your card. I just found the chest and I thought, oh, this looks nice. It would look really good on stage, and then I tried to come up with something I could do with this. And the chest is an integral part of it. So again, it's this theatrical thinking. So I'm not just thinking, oh, let's do any card at any number, and I need some place to hide the cards. No, it's just it all fell into place because I was looking at this chest, and I was thinking of how could we use it in an effect.
I think it's really beneficial for the effects.
It is, because it also it immediately sets the focus, so, and the attention of the audience. if I'm interested in this box, they are also interested in this box and not in what's going on around this. And I want them to be interested in this box. In fact, so this effect, as we are talking about, is designed for a stage. And I would even go that far. We couldn't do this in a small theater, but if I'm on a huge stage, I would just have a shower, which just bright light coming from directly from above, in a single spot onto this table with this chest, and then I would have some music played and talk about my grandfather who died a couple of years ago, and then I move into this effect. And because it's not just a card appearing at a specific number, but it's about the connection between two people from the audience, and this is what I want them to remember, this story of my grandfather and the connection between the two people I grabbed from the audience. And the any card and any number effect is just a means to show this connection.
So it's not the trick, what's important, but the story.
Yeah, it's the story. It's definitely the story and the emotional impact it's supposed to have. It can be eerie, it can be funny, no matter what, as long as it has an emotional attraction.
Of course. Okay, so what do you think, how is the best to open a mentalism act? Because if you stand in front of 100 or thousands of people that are complete strangers for you, people usually decide on you in minutes, and opening a mentalism act is one of the most important things.
It is, and that's something I've been thinking about for quite some time. And what all the people are saying is also completely true. So you never get a second chance for a first impression.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what Max Maven once said when asked about the first effect, what's the first effect you should do, is he said the first effect is you.
Yeah,
and this is completely true. So you don't have that time. Usually, psychologically, people decide in a split second. It's not just 1 second, but less than 1 second if they like you or not. And I'm not like some other performers who don't want their audience to like them. I want them to like me, and I want them to do things for me, because even if you're performing as a mentalist, you need the help of the audience.
Yeah.
They are to write down things, they have to think something, they have to come on stage, because it relies that much on the audience, this mental stuff, that it is an integral part. So I try to treat my audience as they deserve it. So opening a mentalism show, I always wanted to somehow magically appear. But you cannot do this as a mentalist.
Many magicians want to do this.
Yes, but in a mentalism show it would be strange to have a glitter box rolled on stage. So I thought, how could this effect be achieved somehow? And I came up with this idea of having the audience close their eyes. And when they open them again, they are just standing on stage, and this is how I started out yesterday. So I just have some music played and a text asking them to do something, and in the end they are asked to just close their eyes. And at the count of 3, open their eyes, and while they are doing this, I just secretly sneak onto the stage, and then I snap my fingers, they open their eyes, and I'm there. It's
After all, you appear magically. So.
Yeah, I appear somehow magically. Of course, they know that I just sneaked in, but it's an opening that has you on stage, and the show has already begun even before it has begun, because the first instructions have already been given to them by listening to this tape that I played in the background before you even enter the stage. So the moment you are on stage, you're already into the act, and you can just start.
It's a really interesting thing when, for example, yesterday and in your show, your audience, the first meeting with you is just your voice tone, nothing more. And with your voice tone, yesterday was kind, a bit funny, and everything that likable for anybody. And after that, you just get rid of the facts like, if I go to the stage, they will like how I look, or for example, they're not gonna like me because I have a piercing, things like that. And you just get rid of this. And
or I'm holding stupid brain in my hand.
Because it's true. We instantly judge people just based on how they look, and you just get rid of this fact. Yes. And when you come onto the stage, I think most people like you because your voice was kind and you was joking and everything that should be funny and likable.
Yeah, and it's also a good thing for yourself as a performer, because you can listen backstage to the audience's reaction, and if you can hear them giggle or smile to the 2 tiny gags I play, it's very easy to come out there, because it's not that you're afraid to go out, because you already know that there's some kind of sympathy for you there.
Okay, I just have this question because I was the one who did the music for you last night, and
Thank you so much.
and I was wondering, was the music always a part of your act, or did it get in after some time, or how was that?
Well, I think it just belongs to an act if you want it to be complete
Yeah.
and treated and received as complete and full somehow. So I never really thought about why or if to include some music. I really think it's just necessary because people are.
So it was never a question.
No,
Yeah,
never.
you know, because
Never. It's just natural.
many of the mentalists don't even thinking about using music. You know, I saw tons of mentalists who will not use the music at all. And you know, the music is something that can make a whole effect, a different feeling, a different emotion, and everything like that. So it's it's a really great tool.
It is.
On stage.
Yeah.
And overall, it heightens the value of the performance.
Yeah, absolutely.
It does, and it also it sets the mood. First
Yeah,
of all,
yeah,
in
yeah.
the first place, and it gives you the opportunity to receive a certain reaction and to evoke certain feelings,
Yeah.
even if especially if these are familiar songs, for example. And on the other hand, I really do think you should take your time to choose the correct music for your act, and just listen to everything you can and try to find something that suits you and that evokes the emotions you want them to have. For example, I've been looking for quite some time for the ideal music for the the bum reading effect, and I found this calypso style thing. It's not too funny, but it's just this well-being music.
Fits there perfectly.
Yes,
you know.
and it fits
It's a bit
in.
cheesy, but
Yeah.
you know.
For this atmosphere, I think this music is just perfect.
Yeah,
It's
and you should also try this and go out and show this to some friends because you know how you react and what you
Yeah.
feel when you listen to some music, but it's not guaranteed that the others will feel the same. So just try this in a private setting, and if it's not good, just research again.
And you know, the type of music is important too because, for example, most of the times you cannot put it into your style. I mean, because I saw a mentalist a few years ago who was a rocker in the life, and he just put some ridiculous music in his act, which he really liked, but normal people would never listen it at all. And you know, and this is something that's an important thing.
Yep.
So it's not put music into the act because I like this particular sound or music. I need to put it because it just fits to the atmosphere, fits to the effect, it makes sense and things like that.
Yes, even if you don't like it.
Even if I don't like it,
that's an
yeah,
important
exactly.
part, yes.
What else could we ask? I mean, I think it was great picking your brain.
Yeah, just a few information directly from your brain.
Yes. Now, if I was speechless for some time, it's just because Andrew was holding my brain.
Yeah.
And well, so let me ask you something.
Okay.
Is it different from the audience in Germany, because they were all Germans, so no internationals? Is the audience different from Hungary or from the US or from and are the performances and reactions different from what you've seen so far? In your
It's a quite good question,
isn't it?
You know, in Hungary you can catch really awesome audiences, but on the other hand you can find people like. And you see this, which is just
So that's
ridiculous.
what Germans are supposed to be like. They need some time to really warm up and to give something to you, and it's always difficult, I think.
Yeah, and this is why opening a mentalism show is again an important thing.
Yes.
Opening any
Yes.
magic, you know,
Yes.
just how you handle cards, just what your first sentence is in a close-up setting or any environment, because you know you can lose your audience just there. So, for example, I saw a lot of Hungarian magicians who take out the cards and start to play with it. And what should I show you? I don't know. And the audience looks like this for seconds or minutes, and after that they don't care, because they just seeing a man playing with the cards and say ridiculous things. What should I do? Blah, blah. So it's not a performance. It's nothing. It's somebody showing something.
No connection.
Yeah, there is. And the connection is instantly lost. They just disconnected. So basically, what happens? And after that, to grab them again, it's just too hard.
Yeah. This is why you should, in my opinion, keep the flow.
Yeah,
somehow.
absolutely.
And this as far as
By
as
planning
I'm
your show,
concerned, yeah, by
for
planning,
example.
yeah, by planning your show, yes, that would be the first step in this procedure, and this is what I do. I plan my shows, so that they at least look as if they have been composed from beginning to the end.
Yeah.
And there are just a couple of ways that you can use to do this very easily
Yeah.
without thinking too much. One of the things I use is I try to basically follow the triangle structure of theater and drama, which was conceived by Gustav Freytag back in 1862. And he was just analyzing the structure of a play,
Yeah.
of a tragedy. And he said it's just a triangle structure. You have a beginning, and you have sort of a rising story, rising tension, and you have a climax, which can be transferred perfectly to the magic world or world of mentalism.
Yeah.
Because you have a starting point. First of you invite someone on stage, for
Yeah.
example, and then something's happening. There's the rising tension, and suddenly sometime the effect happens, which is the climax, of
Yeah.
course. And then you have a falling tension, and finally this ends usually in the play. It ends in the tragedy, which hopefully will not happen when you're performing on stage. But that means this falling action is the moment of relaxing
Yeah.
and offbeat. So this is where you can do some secret moves, for example. So
Yeah.
when everybody's heart just saying, "Oh, the effect is over. Let's give a big hand and applaud." And so if you transfer this structure to your shows, it's quite easy to follow along these lines
Yeah.
and come up with a structure for your show. And what I do is I try to use this for every single effect, and then wrap the whole show around this. So it's like sort of embracing storylines.
Yeah.
So you have your first effect, you have second, a third, and then I have like a frame for everything. And last night the frame was the thinking of the objects.
Yeah.
And this is something you can use to play with. So even before the show started, I would have them think of an object and keep this in their minds. And then I would do my first effect, and then I would refer back to this.
Yeah.
So it's just like a thread that moves through the whole show.
Whole show, yeah.
And it ends after the show actually ended. If you remember, I just said, "Thanks for watching, goodbye," or "good night," and then just as an afterthought, I
Yeah.
was revealing the final word, the one that was not revealed yet.
Yeah. I'm really a big fan of this kind of effects that goes all the way through the show, and I really love them.
And it naturally sets the pace, and also sets the storyline. You
Yeah.
can move around, and it's to the audience. It makes the show feel complete, because you start off with something just as in the triangle structure. You have a start, you have a culmination point, a climax, and you have an ending. And every story needs to have this, and every play and every magic performance or mental performance needs to have this. So you start out with the words, you have a climax, you reveal something, and then finally you reveal the last thing, and everything falls into place, and it's over. And it's a very easy way to just structure your show so that it appears as if you really put some thought into it.
So now everybody has a homework to do.
I hope so.
Okay, guys, this was a little piece from the mind of Stefan Olschewski, so we can give back to him his brain.
Thank you so much.
So, Stefan, thank you very much again for the interview. It was a real pleasure for us. Thank you.
So much. Thanks for having me here.
So, bye, guys. See you next time.
Bye-bye.